What's up, y'all? It's your girl EJ, and welcome back to my channel. Now, today we're going to be doing our power talk. Now, of course, on Sunday we're going to be having an in-depth conversation about the entire episode, but today I'm just going to talk about some of the things that stood out to me, what I enjoyed about this episode. Now, y'all already know that I rocks with Effie, that Effie is probably one of my most favorite characters. She's a very complicated character, yet I really enjoy this character. In this particular episode, though, I know a lot of people that dislike Effie was really excited about seeing Tariq find out about the whole situation and seeing the way that he treated Effie. But to be fair, at the end of the day, I've always said that Effie should have told him the truth, that Brayden should have told him the truth. And I've always said that he would find a way to forgive Brayden for his role that he played in it, but that he wouldn't necessarily forgive Effie. Now, what I find interesting about this whole situation is exactly what I said from the very beginning when I did that video about Effie, when I talked about Lauren and how long was she going to stay away? How long was she going to stay away from her family? It's the same exact thing that Effie says in this episode, and that's where the problem lies. Yes, Tariq could have gotten Lauren out, Brayden could have took her off wherever, but at the end of the day, how long was she going to stay away? How long was she going to stay away from her family? And would she have chosen Tariq over everything else? And I think the answer to that question is a big old fat no. But that's not the point. Now, on this video, I don't want to go too far into Effie. We definitely are going to talk about Effie on the live for sure. But I do want to talk about another character that was pretty intriguing on this particular episode. I always give credit where credit is due, and I was really impressed with Kane in this episode, and that's because he says some things that really resonated that I thought made a lot of sense. For one thing, he says that this was something that should have been done. Like, he's not going to blame Effie for something that, for putting in the work. And I have always agreed with that as well. He also says that they should not make a move on the Russians. I wholeheartedly 100% agree with that as well. Another thing that he talks about is the fact that Brayden should assert himself. Like, Brayden needs to step up at this point because he puts the battery into Brayden's back to come and do what he needs to do. Like, don't be letting Tariq run all over you. Now, y'all know I ride for Reek, but when Reek is wrong, he's just wrong. And I understand that he's in his emotions and he's in his feelings right now about this whole situation. But at the end of the day, no, Brayden didn't tell you about it. That is true. But you also didn't tell Brayden about when you were selling drugs with Effie way back in season 1, season 2, I can't remember when it was, but you failed to mention that as well when you were trying to get the money for your mom and the lawyers and stuff like that, when you were actually selling the cocaine and not just the other drugs. And so it's just been times where Tariq actually doesn't give people all of the information. I realize that this is about murder and this was about someone that he cared about per se. But at the end of the day, if this had been anyone else, Lauren would have been dead no matter what. The only reason why this is a factor is because it was someone that Tariq cared about. But Kane was right when he told Brayden what he needed to do. And I thought that that was a player move of him not giving Reek access into the building, because at the end of the day, he lets Tariq know that he needs him too. There is no business without the Westing holding buildings. You know what I'm saying? He has to figure out a whole nother way to do that. And I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that he realizes that they need each other in order for this to work. Now, another thing that I really enjoyed on this episode was I like the fact that Diana actually got rid of Salim. Salim has been throwing shade at her family for the longest. And I'm not a big Tejada family fan, to be honest. Like, the Tejadas are not my favorite. Probably the only person that I really like is Drew. And in this episode, he kind of took all of that away. So right now, all the Tejadas can kick rocks, except for Kane right now. Because, I go back and forth with him all the time because he do some crazy stuff. But at the same time, he does make some good points. So So that's why I'm always back and forth with him. But Monet definitely was doing the most. Monet is going to be this family's downfall if she doesn't get it together. The way that she plays Drew and Kane against each other is the same way that Lorenzo was kind of doing that same exact thing. They both have done this, maybe not on purpose, but they definitely have played them against each other. And I don't like that at all. I don't think that Drew is meant to lead the family right now either. I certainly don't think that Kane is meant to lead the family either. So I really don't know who should be leading the family, to be honest. But what we do know is that Salim has been highly disrespectful, and no matter who this family is, you do not have the right to come in here and talk noise, and you're going to do it in his house at his repast. Like, Salim, real talk, that was probably the dumbest move you could have ever done. And I still think that something is off with Salim, something just not right with him. But, you know, we shall see as it all goes down, because somebody has been taking those pictures. Who's been taking those pictures? We don't know, but there's definitely somebody who is on the inside that is doing it. Now, another big thing that happened on this episode is Diana doubled back to Tariq, and then Effie comes to her for help, and then Tariq is right there, and she sees that they've been together. So this is definitely a big old bomb. And then your girl Diana goes into the lockers, and she gets caught on that camera. So this is going to be interesting as well, because now they just have one other piece that Jenny's going to be able to use to try to create this RICO case. And Lord, let's not even talk about Jenny, because Jenny was doing the most on this episode. She was doing a lot of flexing, and it was just crazy, because the very people that you want to help you, instead you try to bully them into helping you. She tries to bully Lauren into helping. We learned that Lauren's family has been moved to another location. So she went to see her family to tell them that she's alive. She wanted to sleep in her own bed. I completely wholeheartedly get that. But her family has been moved. Jenny has the keys to her house, and Jenny basically tells her she has no choice in so many words. Then she doubles back and does the same thing with Sax. And what's interesting to me about Sax is that he is still out to get Tariq in some way, form, or fashion. Like, this woman has used you. She has pretty much just treated you like trash, Sax, and yet you are still going to try to help her in some way, form, or fashion. You are still trying to talk Lauren into testifying against Tariq and using her in this way. So it's just going to be interesting to see which way Lauren is going to go. But like I said, I don't think that Lauren is going to choose Tariq when it's all said and done, if it comes down to her. Now, if it has no bearing on her, if it is not going to hurt her in any way, form, or fashion, then she probably may help Tariq out. But if it has to do with her, if it's going to hurt her in some way, I don't think she's going to do it, y'all. That's just my opinion, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to lie, on this particular episode, I just wasn't feeling Reek that much. I knew that this was all going to come out. I knew he was going to be upset. I knew he was going to try to go on this lone wolf thing. But after Obi sees that he's going off of his route, he's going to tell him that he needs all of them together at the meets from now on. And that includes Effie as well. So he's not going to have a choice but to bring Effie back in, because they're really not giving him any options. So this is going to be interesting as well to see, especially if Kane and Effie end up doing the nasty, y'all, because, you know, he is in her room, and I don't know if that's where this is going to lead to, but I know that somewhere down the line, I did see a picture of someone with curly hair, and the only person that has the curly hair on here is Kiki and Effie. So I don't know, one of them is getting it on with somebody, and who knows? I mean, it looks like Tariq has doubled back to Diana. Who knows? You know, Kane and Effie might just get it on as well. So this is all going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Now, to be fair, I really did want Effie and Tariq to end up together. I definitely never was here for a Diana and Tariq situation, and I darn sure don't want Lauren and Tariq together. He could go be with somebody else for all I care, but definitely not either one of those two. So overall, I thought this episode was a really good episode. There's just so much to unpack, and I cannot wait to talk about the entire episode on the live on Sunday. Sunday, y'all, because there is a lot of stuff to talk about. We got to talk about Drew and these Russians and why he did what he did. I think this was a reckless move, and the fact that Monet co-signs this thing when it's all said and done is crazy to me. But I do know that Monet is trying to cover her tracks in a way, because really the only person that knows is Gordo about the situation, and how she continues to ask Drew, did Gordo tell you that the Russians did this? Did Gordo tell you that the Russians did this? And he never really answers, because he just keeps saying that he knows in his heart, he knows that this is the right thing. Bruh, this was not the right thing at all to do. So this is definitely going to have some ramifications from it. It is definitely not going to be a good thing. And why was everybody shooting? Wasn't it a bunch of police officers and DA and all that type of stuff, and they out here shooting guns? I'm just trying to figure it out, y'all. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this particular episode. What was your favorite moment on Power? I'm about to go watch this thing again, y'all, and probably again, because this was a really, really good loaded episode. Go ahead and get the conversation started down below. Meanwhile, if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to your girl channel. Turn on your notifications so that you do not miss out on any future episodes. Now, YouTube says that you might just like this video next. Go ahead and take a look. Until next time, guys. Peace.